participation of its candidates in the last elections in Zamfara State. A five-man panel of the court led by Justice Olabode Rose Vivor in a ruling struck out the application filed by the APC seeking a review of the judgment. The court rejected effort by the lawyer to the APC, Robert Clark San, to take a second look at the decision given earlier this year. Counsel to the People's Democratic Party told newsmen outside the courtroom that the application of the APC was an affront on the Supreme Court.
This is indeed an insult to the highest court of the land to bring such an application before them in an appeal they had decided finally. Like they have always said, the Supreme Court is not infallible because they are final, but they are final and therefore they are infallible. So they have reinstated that point, as they have always done over and over again. They remain the final court of the land, and their decision on Zamfara case is final, and that is the end of it. No person can go and wake it up like they were trying to do.
Justice Adamu Galuje of the Supreme Court had on May 24 nullified the elections of all the candidates of the APC in Zamfara State in the 2019 general elections. The Apex Court held that the appeal court in Sokoto was right when it agreed with the respondents that the party did not conduct primaries in the state. It added that the party that has no candidate cannot be said to have won an election, hence the votes cast for the APC in the election were wasted votes. And President Muhammadu Buhari, the All Progressives Congress, and the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) have said they do not intend to call any witness in the petition by the Hope Democratic Party (HDP) and its presidential candidate in the last election, Ambrose Owuru. Counsel to President Buhari Yusuf Ali and that of the APC, Akin Olujimi San, as well as counsel to INEC, Yunus Usman, who is also a San, all said they do not intend to call witnesses and would rely on the case as presented by the petitioners. Meanwhile, HDP's counsel, Eze Nanyelugo, told the Presidential Election Petition Court that his clients were done with this case after calling only one witness. Our correspondent reports that the tribunal adjourned till August 5, 2019 for the adoption of final written addresses in respect of the petition. And on the foreign scene, at least 5 people were killed and several wounded when a car bomb was detonated Monday outside a hotel in the Somali capital Mogadishu. The explosion near a checkpoint outside the Africa Hotel reverberated throughout the city and sent a massive plume of smoke, black smoke, into the air. Abdullahi Ahmed, a security officer who witnessed the blast, said at least 5 people were killed in the attack, which appeared to be targeting the hotel. The attack comes just over a week after 26 people were killed and 56 injured in a 12-hour attack by Al-Shabaab jihadists on a popular hotel in the southern Somali port city of Kismayo. And Israeli forces have begun demolishing buildings near a military barrier on the outskirts of Jerusalem in the face of Palestinian protest and international criticism. Bulldozers, accompanied by hundreds of Israeli soldiers and police, moved into Sobaha, a Palestinian village on the edge of East Jerusalem, in an area that Israel captured and occupied in the 1967 Middle East War. Palestinians fear that the raising of homes and buildings near the fence will set a precedent for other towns along the route of the barrier, which runs for hundreds of kilometers around and through the Israeli-occupied West Bank. The demolition is the latest round of protracted wrangling over the future of Jerusalem, home to more than 500,000 Israelis and 300,000 Palestinians, and sites sacred to Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. And that's it on the news update for the hour. Thank you for your time. Stay tuned.
This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people.
This is Today 95.1 FM. To copy this tune, press 9.
This is Today 95.1 FM.
For current news and information, press 5.
They are politicians, all of them. They know what they do.
So they know how they attack each other.
To stay connected all day, press 1.
The person who raised the name is the one who made the public know about.
Good afternoon and welcome to the World News on your Premium Talk Radio station.
We are your Premium Talk Radio station. Today 95.1 FM, the station with a unique dial.
Cultism is a monster whose ravaging effects have left tales of woes such as loss of lives, kidnapping, drug abuse, threats, destruction of properties, blackmail, rape, and many other ills in society. In our society today, poor parental training, peer pressure, poverty, quest for power and social identity are the leading factors that contributes to youths indulging in this act. Again, peace can be restored to our society only and only if we attach value to human lives. And this would bring about rapid development to our community. Say no to cultism. This message is brought to you by Today95.1 FM, Voice of the People.
I'm not too tight to announce yourself for this place.
Abobe, march down, Moko, come on here.
Madam, that's how you dey reach. How you go chop banana finish, wrap am for nylon, put am inside your bag? When you dey close to window, you no fit throw am now. Abeg go, that's how you dey reach.
Abeg, make I calm down.
Don't you know that banana peels are slippery? It can actually cause an accident. And moreover, you are not supposed to throw things on the road. You should pack your rubbish until you get to a trash can where you can dispose it properly. We all have a responsibility to keep the state clean. Keeping the state clean will help stop the spread of diseases and leave our city looking beautiful. So, Oga and Madam, let's stop dumping refuse anyhow on the roads. Let's join our hands together to keep our state clean, to keep River State clean.
This message is brought to you by Today95.1 FM. Port Harcourt.
Some people will carry human head in their boots and they will not charge them because they are collecting bribe.
When they go collect salary, then go say government need to pay them break.
All these taxi drivers safe. They don't even get papers. Even driver's license safe, they no get.
Hey you, back there. Hold on there.
Their cars are in bad shape, very, very bad shape. They have no ethics of driving. That is why they will continue to bribe so that they can have their way.
I could shoot you down. I will shoot you. Headlight, you no get. Side mirror, you no get. Motorway to better carry animal. Now you take put for road to carry human being. You never even wind the motor when rain they fall. You no get conscience at all. Take, you be number 15. You be number 5. More than number.
Let's allow them do their job. Do not obstruct justice by giving or taking bribe. Avail yourself a check. Even you, Oga driver, stop reckless driving and always update your papers. This information
is brought to you by Today95.1 FM,
Voice of the People.
Officer, give me change. Now 1,000 I give you.
Corruption is a dishonest action that destroys people's trust. Corruption takes many forms and can be interpreted by many people in many ways. It is hard to enter into any sector in Nigeria without observing one corrupt practice or the other. The faces of corruption ranges from political, universities and college, bank sector, the civil service, even the religious bodies. In Nigeria, factors like greed, poor youth empowerment, poverty, unemployment, etc. are said to be responsible for corruption. However, no reason is good enough to be corrupt, because corruption is capable of crippling our economy, raise poverty level, bring about national crisis, as well as poor national development. Stop the embezzlement and misappropriation of public or government funds, bribery, malpractice, man no man, and treat all citizens equally today. A corrupt-free nation is possible. This message is powered by your premium talk radio Today 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
Some people will carry human head in their boots and they will not charge them because they are collecting bribe.
When they go collect salary, then go say government need to pay them break.
All these taxi drivers safe. They don't even get papers. Even driver's license safe, they no get.
Hey you, back there. Hold on there.
Their cars are in bad shape, very, very bad shape. They have no ethics of driving. That is why they will continue to bribe so that they can have their way.
I will shoot you down. I will shoot you. Headlight, you no get. Side mirror, you no get. Motorway to where carry animal, now you take put for road to carry human being. You never even wind the motor when rain they fall. You no get conscience at all.
Take, you be number 15, you be number 5. Mona no forget una number.
Let's allow them do their job.
Do not obstruct justice by giving or taking bribe. Avail yourself a check. Even you, Oga driver, stop reckless driving and always update your papers. This information
is brought to you by Today95.1 FM.
Voice of the people.
Officer, give me change. Now 1,000 I give you.
Every child deserves to be happy. Every child deserves to laugh. Years after Nigeria adopted international prohibitions on child labor into law, millions of children in the country are still engaged in child labor activities. The International Labour Organization estimates that about 25% of Nigeria's 80 million children under the age of 14 are now in the workforce. Every child deserves a childhood. Let us all rise in every hood to give every child, regardless creed, belief, or tribe, a pleasant childhood filled with laughter. This message is brought to you by the Voice of the People. Today 95.1 FM.
For crying out loud, why do you leave me at this point in time? Oh my God. In my life now. I couldn't do anything like that to me. What on earth did I do to this?
Suicide is a practice that is fast gaining dominance in Nigeria. Suicide is the intentional act of taking one's life. Within the first quarter of 2017 alone, many Nigerians have subscribed to suicide as a means to escaping depression, severe anxiety, acute stress, terminal diseases, lack of money or hope for survival, mental disorder, or even a heartbreak. The World Health Organization revealed that no fewer than 1 million people die annually from suicide, which represents a global mortality rate of 16 people per 100,000, or 1 death in every 40 seconds. It is also a fact that approximately 10 to 20 million people attempt suicide every year. But is anything worth dying for?
Oh my God.
Suicide is a major public health concern, but it is preventable. Talk to someone when you feel depressed. You can also prevent others from a suicide attempt by contacting the Nigerian Suicide Prevention Initiative on 080-621-06493 or 080-921-06493. Choose to live today because life is beautiful. This message is powered by your premium talk radio, Today 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
You may wonder why we chose to dabble into broadcasting. It is because on Today FM, we understand the right of every person and every group to fair coverage. In bringing you the news, we give you a platform to share your views. We give you a voice. Your premium talk radio, Today 95.1 FM, the voice of the people, the people, the people, the people.
This is today's hustle. One show that embodies objectivity. We raise the bar in examining the good, the bad, the sordid, everything that has to do with society.
In America, you buy a big house and you pay gradually for 30 years of your life. That is politics. In Nigeria, you carry all your salary and go and rent one room. Bad politics.
Everything that has to do with
you
society.
must negotiate. If we don't negotiate, when a man is pushed to the wall, he bounces back with double that. We have been pushed to the wall.
The Hustle. Every weekday from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Today 95.1 FM.
Okay, yes, it's quite sunny afternoon. I'm not very sure because I'm not outside, so I don't know. But one thing I know is it's 16 minutes past 1 o'clock. That's very sure. And I also am aware that today is a Monday, the 22nd of July, the very first working day of a new week. And I'm also very sure that you had a great weekend, regardless of whatever situation that came your way. The fact that you are tuned in and you can hear me at the moment, it means that your weekend was good. So appreciate that first. This is today's hustle here on Today 95.1 FM. And security issues in the country have been the major focus for a lot of people. Some other people have been focusing on the Ruga settlement, which is still making waves on different frontiers. Well, for us, we'll be starting off today's show from a security front. And it's not security that concerns herdsmen. No, security generally. My name is Ifeyemi Andrew, and I'm not alone. Bolu is also with me in the studio. Bolu, how are you?
I'm very well. Good afternoon, Andrew.
All right, okay, let me quickly introduce. I'm very fine, thank you. Quickly introduce the only lady we have with us in the studio, Chinwendu. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
She's well, we don't have Dave on socials today. I'm pretty sure he will join us later on to keep you up to date on social media. All right, so let's get on with the conversation for today. The first place we would need to start off from, many people have already read that statement that came from Garba Shehu, Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity to President Muhammadu Buhari. He said that the present government disagrees with the assumption in certain quarters that there exists a security collapse in Nigeria. Remember that the president also talked about how people were blowing or making a huge deal out of the security situation and talked about how some people who have been saying that things are really bad are unpatriotic with their statement.
Isolated
cases it's
of,
just isolated
violence.
cases of violence is what we have. He did say that. And but now is another statement coming from the presidency, and Garba Shehu argued that the government is on top of the security situation in the country. He also stressed that calm has been restored to North Central and Niger Delta. And the next question I want to ask is...
the Niger Delta.
The next question I want to ask is, these areas in the Niger Delta, we haven't really had any serious security threats in the Niger Delta. No major security threats, except for the normal kidnapping that we have, and it wasn't even high here. I mean, the kidnapping was highest along the Abuja-Kaduna Expressway. That was where it was highest at the time, and banditry and kidnapping. Yes. The East-West Road, yes, we've had kidnapping. The Port Harcourt-Owerri Road, we've had kidnappings as well. Yes, that's very correct. But I don't think that would equate to serious security threats in the Niger Delta region. Niger Delta region relatively has been calm for the past couple of years. In the North Central, herdsmen farmers clash has ravaged most of the communities around there, still ravaging some of the communities around there. So if we look...
It didn't even talk about the Southwest, where we have kidnappings as well, and where Foluke Olakunrin was killed. Daughter of Pafa Sovereignty.
The Benin-Ore Road.
The Benin-Ore Road. So if he's saying that, if the government is saying, because Garba Shehu represents Buhari, and if he's saying that the government disagrees with the assumption that there exists, a security collapse in Nigeria, well, you don't just say it. We have to see it. If we see it, we'll know whether there is a security collapse or not. Because now people are scared to travel on our roads. People are scared to even go to work. They are afraid anything's going to happen. People are scared of going to their farms to farm because anything could happen. People are afraid of basically everything.
But this is his argument. He further argued that the security challenges had existed before the present administration came to office, which is correct. He also argued that the president, Muhammadu Buhari, in this administration has also met its own challenges. So he acknowledged that, the fact that, yes. And he said that these challenges have been dealt with decisively.
Decisively is a strong word for me. Well, personally for me, I feel like if this government has dealt with insecurity, the issue of insecurity decisively, then you don't need to convince people. There won't be quarters saying, okay, there's a security collapse in the country. We won't have the Senate talking about holding a national conference on insecurity or security, as you want to put it. So if it is clear for everyone to see, it is what happens. It is where we go. It happens. It's around us. We don't need someone to come and tell us, oh, there's insecurity in Nigeria or there's security in Nigeria. We don't need the president to try and convince us. It is what we see. If we see that, okay, everywhere is safe, I can go to my work, I can travel to Bayelsa if I want to without being scared. I can go to my farm and do my job without the fear of maybe someone, an headsman or someone killing me. It is what we see. It is not a function of you telling me there is no security and then I'm scared to travel. It is what you see.
Well, Garba also stated that the president is open to ideas. Many have said that the president has the know-it-all attitude. He's debunked that and said that the president knows that he doesn't know it all. And as
it was the PDP that said that.
That he would welcome ideas from the general public. But that's on the side of the presidency. Before you say something, Falana, on the other hand, and then the former governor of Kaduna State, Balarabe Musa, had their own idea about the situation. In fact, for them, they said that the Nigerian government should squarely address the problem of insecurity in the country. The statement was jointly signed by both of these men, entitled "Time to Save Nigeria." Both of them decried the security situation in the country, which they said was worsening. So if you now juxtapose what they are saying and what Garba Shehu is saying, well, many would say you don't expect Garba Shehu to come out and paint the government in a bad light. Is working for the government.
But he can come out and say, okay, the government is working towards, making the security challenges, overcoming the security challenges we have in the country now. He doesn't have to come out to say, people are, with the statements, it does sound as though we, the people, are exaggerating the cases of insecurity in the country. And it's not just us, because recently the Senate was talking about setting up a national conference for security, a summit or something like that. So it then means that, okay, if Garba Shehu is saying this, it means that the people or the media or some quarters are exaggerating the cases of insecurity in the country, which I do not feel it's true, because
for them, they challenged the president to perform his constitutional duty, keeping the nation secure. And this is one angle they came from that really caught my attention. They talked about the former governor and the Falana human rights activists asked the law enforcement agencies and security agencies to fight crime completely, strictly according to law. And they further said that ethnic and religious identity of a criminal was not of any importance, as victims of criminal activities belong to various ethnic grounds and religions. Saying this, does it mean, are they coming from a stand of they have seen or heard or experienced the fact that, or perceive that the crime fight is tilted towards religious or ethnic grounds? For them to be saying that security agencies should ensure that they don't, they fight crime regardless of ethnic or religious identity, that would suggest that perhaps we have a problem with how crime is being fought when it comes to religion and ethnic groups as well.
Well, I feel what they're saying is that your ethnicity or your religious, whatever religion you identify with, is not important. It's not shouldn't be something. Yes. When you're
if you commit a crime, you commit a crime.
And maybe, just maybe, they're talking to we the people, because some people have said we tend to call a certain tribe, or we tend to make this insecurity issue about a certain tribe and say, okay, the Fulani headsmen, they're the ones that are disturbing the whole country. But then we have kidnapping in the South. We have, robbery and all these things. So probably what they're trying to say is anybody, regardless of your ethnic background,
the moment you break the law, you commit a crime, you should be punished adequately according to the law.
Exactly. It shouldn't bother if you're Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba, Fulani. It shouldn't bother.
All right, before we move on to another conversation, let me quickly inform us that we can air our thoughts about this situation. Where security situation is serious. It's not just a Nigerian thing, it's a world thing. In fact, at the moment, Iran and the USA are getting it hot. Puerto Rico, different places in the world have issues. So it's not like it's peculiar to our country, but we're looking at this to see how far our government is working to solve this problem that we are seeing at the moment. So if you have something to say with regards to the statement from Garba Shehu and putting that side by side with what the former Kaduna State governor has said alongside Femi Falana, you can just air your opinion. Simply send us a text message 0701 933 9962 0701 933 9962. That is our SMS portal. The phone lines will be coming up in a couple of minutes from now. But before we do that, we'll take a trip to the red chambers and talk about the ministerial list, okay? Now, the Senate are urging the president to submit his ministerial nominees by Friday this week. Remember that we got an information from the speaker suggesting that we could get the list 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
And it didn't come. And they are preparing to go for their annual recess, which is supposed to start on 26th, which is just 4 days away. So, yes, it's supposed to start on 26th, 4 days away. And it's supposed to end on September 26th. So they have about a month plus to relax and take their time. Well, the problem now is the list still has not been submitted by the president. Constitutionally, you can't demand the list from the president, and there isn't any law that says the president must submit this list within a time frame. Now, that is what is posing an issue for them. So because you can't force the president to, because there's no law that says the president demands the president to submit this list at a certain time, you have to then wait for the president for whenever he submits the list. So the best they can do is, we also have, backed by law, time for our rest, which is this time to this time. So we're saying, if you don't bring the list between now and Friday, when we go on that recess, there's nothing we can do about it. But if we get the list before then, we can afford to sacrifice a part of that time to look at the list.
Okay, is that what you're saying?
That's what they're saying. The National Assembly, they are supposed to go on that July 26th, like I rightly said. The chairman, Senate and ad hoc committee on media and public affairs, Senator Adedayo Adeyeye, said that the Red Chamber would proceed on its annual 2-month recess this week if they did not get the ministerial list by Friday. So if they get it by Friday, they might not proceed on that. So that would mean they would have to sacrifice a part of their holiday.
Yeah.
You know, things you do for the nation, yeah?
It's quite commendable.
Things you do for Nigeria, you have to make that sacrifice.
But why has President Muhammadu Buhari not given the list yet?
Well,
if he says that he knows the people,
he says he wants to work with people he knows
already,
yes,
and then tested and trusted. So why hasn't he given the list to the Senate? It's quite, I don't know, it's confusing. It's a confusing one. And then I was about to say that if the president gives the Senate the list on Friday, then they wouldn't have been able to, vet and work on it. But now, since the Senate are saying that they could take some time off their, the period they have for recess to work on the list. So it's a good thing. It's quite commendable. Now it's up to the president, Muhammadu Buhari, to just send the list to the Senate if he has the list already. So and in the Green Chambers, a House of Rep member, Oluwole Oke, has also come out to complain about the monies they receive monthly. It says that the 8.5 million monthly running cost is insufficient. Now, Oluwole Oke represents Oriade Federal Constituency of Osun State, and he said this while was speaking with Punch newspapers. The lawmaker admitted that the running cost is different from the 606,000 naira he earns as monthly salary as a federal, lawmaker. Some people have said their salaries is just 600 and something thousand, but really they have allowances. Now, in comparison, a civil servant who earns 30,000 minimum wage would have to work for 24 years. Did you get that? 24 years to earn what an House of Representative member would receive in a month. Now, it's even worse in the case of senators, because then if you're receiving 30,000 naira, which is the minimum wage, that hasn't even been, implemented. I've not seen anyone receive the minimum wage. Now, would have to work for 37 years
For you
before
to be able
you get
to make,
what a senator
to
makes
make-
in a month. You would, that's if you're on the minimum wage. If you're the lowest, level 1, you would have to work for 37 years to earn what a senator will collect in a month. And the senator is saying it's not enough. Now, it says, and I quote, how much is 8.5 million naira to me as a person? Is asking a question. And it says
8.5 million naira to him as a person, actually is nothing, eh? Is what he's saying, perhaps.
If you have to embark on research, I'm still quoting him, please. Looking at the bills that I've sponsored in the House, you would see that those bills that I sponsored are not ones you can just come by anyhow. They are not bills that you pick on the shelf. I remember when I promoted the National Pension Commission Act, it took me out to Chile and other countries like Argentina and the UK and even India. So if you give me 8.5 million naira and I have to go and find out what is happening aside from the information, aside from the information I get from the internet, then look at the tickets and see the flight costs, even if I decide to fly economy class. So how much is that? Now,
is he talking about just? Is he talking about just that 8 point how many million?
8.5 million. That's just the allowance. It's
the
running costs.
Running costs.
Yes.
Minus
the 606,000 that they receive.
That they receive monthly.
I'm talking about House of Rep members now.
So minus the monies they get per city.
Yes.
Minus many other clothes allowance, house allowance, car allowance.
Aids. No. I think the house allowance and all that falls
within that running cost.
Now they have aids and they are supposed to have at least
5 aids. Yes. And the government
and
pay.
The government takes care.
So what would these aids do for you?
Exactly. Why do you have to travel down to Chile to come and bring
students who do projects or professors or lecturers who do projects?
Yeah.
Very underfunded most of the times. All right. How did they come about succeeding in those projects when they don't even have up to 8 million?
And they didn't travel to
And
Chile.
they didn't have to travel to Chile or Argentina.
So
to get certain facts that they need.
We have the internet.
There is the internet these days.
If you have to travel to Chile to come back and propose a bill, did you get it?
And then if you look at it from another perspective, I think it then goes to show how intelligent our senators are. No offense to any of them, but when I say how intelligent, I'm being sarcastic.
I understand.
Now, if you're telling me that for you to be able to grow, you can't grow homegrown ideas on how you can solve the problem of your people. Can't you sit down and those people who developed those ideas in Chile and Argentina, I don't think they came to Nigeria.
Of course.
I don't think they had to come to Nigeria to look at how we're working in Nigeria. And I think that's where we've had major problems. The cultural pattern of people living in Chile and Argentina, their style and their pattern of living, the way of life of the people there, it's quite different from what is obtainable in Nigeria. Their system and how it functions is very different from what you have here. So you might see what they have there as good, and you want to have what they have there here. The truth is you can't go about it in the same method that they did.
Exactly.
To get that same result, you might have to apply a different method because you have a different system working for you here. So the point is, if he is saying that all of those monies is spent, I think we might have to begin to do calculation. How much flight ticket, even if you're flying economy, okay, how much would it take you to travel from here to Argentina? Well, I haven't been to Argentina, so I can't tell. International flight.
Probably, but even both Argentina and Chile, they're in the same.
South America.
So probably the both of them. I'm just guessing.
So
$1 million.
$1 million.
That's if you travel.
I don't think it's up to $1 million. It's not up to $1 million.
I'm saying close your
How much to go to the UK?
I'm saying plus your hotel bills and every other thing. You said you went for research.
Plus the hotel and everything.
Now, and that is if you went to both Chile, Argentina, and the UK in 1 month.
So if you are going for study and not a vacation, how can you finish 8 million?
To just go study, to propose a bill.
All right. To propose a bill.
To come back and propose a bill, you had to travel.
So in other words, you didn't wait in your country to look at what your people are going through and look at the kind of system you have in your country. For pensions, by the way. And you feel like that's how it works. And so for that reason, 8 million is not okay.
Just pay them their money. How hard is it?
How hard is it to reform pension laws in Nigeria? that you need to travel to Argentina
and then
to look at that.
It's getting quite insultive the way the lawmakers are saying it is not enough and it's not what they expected. Somebody also came out to say it is nothing to write home about. I read a fact to you where you saw that a Nigerian citizen working with the government and earning the minimum wage, which is 30,000 naira, would have to work for 24 years to earn what the same lawmaker, who is also a Nigerian, earns. You're both Nigerian.
A student of the University of Port Harcourt to get to their final year would have to do their thesis. I don't think they have to travel to Argentina or Chile because they don't have that resources. But they have to make it happen.
They have to make it happen.
So they think of a way. So if you're telling me that 8 million is not really enough, why are people complaining? 8 million to you as a person is not. Of course, you're a person. So 8 million, I don't know what you think. But isn't that you trying to tell us now that that is your yardstick for demanding for more?
Exactly.
So you could do a better job.
And also,
so before you got to that place where you get 8 million, how were you doing the job you were doing without 8 million?
And it's also funny because I think was he Uzo Kalu was saying that some of the new members of the Senate were quite, they were disappointed
upset
about the new monies. So does that then mean that this guys got into those positions not to serve, but because of the monies that they were going to receive?
I think that would be a fact that
because
people have established
if you're upset that I'm collecting 9 million, why am I collecting 8.5 million? And that is your focus, not to represent the people you swore to represent. And you're saying, I'm earning 8.5 million. How much is it? Not even caring that some people earn 30,000.
Well, that's one problem. I wish perhaps if he had traveled to Russia or Germany or China or Israel, we might have been able to bring up laws that will help our aviation security. Because now, the Nigerian aviation professionals have called on federal government to immediately commence a total overhaul of the security of Nigerian airports. The story of the man who was seen on the wings of a plane. Yes. The man is actually from Niger. He's a Nigerian man. He can't speak English, can't understand English as well. So the Secretary General of the Association, Abdul Razak Saidu, who made the call, was actually speaking with reference to that man and said that total overhauling is needed for a security. Imagine if that man was a terrorist. We would have been mourning now. How did he get past? The stowaway, that's not an area that you can easily access because of the level of security and level of clearance you need
that should be
to give you access
should be there
to get to that place. So how did he get there?
If he got there,
on the wing
it
of
only
the plane,
means the level of security wasn't tough enough.
It was either somebody wasn't doing his job diligently, or there were saboteurs within that unit that could have allowed that man to have gotten access to that area.
Thank God it wasn't a terrorist.
Well, thank God it wasn't something really bad. Although people were sent into disorder at the moment. So if I was on that plane, there was nothing you were telling me I was coming down. I was coming down to go back home and not travel for the next 2 weeks. So
I'll even do Thanksgiving.
He also lamented that those in authorities have not learned various calls and warnings from unions to recruit aviation security and fire personnel in transparent way. That's a problem. How we recruit. So you asked me a question about the ministerial list, and I was listening to something on TV this morning before I got to work, where people were saying the reason why appointments are the way they are in Nigeria is because before you got there, you had to kneel to a lot of people. You had to clean a lot of shoes. You had to, convince a lot of people, make promises. So now you get there, you don't have the powers anymore to give appointments based on qualifications and merits. It's now based on settling disputes. Sometimes you try to settle people who brought you there. Other times you have to settle internal political party disputes. In fact, you have to settle your political cronies, and then there is dispute within political parties.
Even
you don't run. I'll give you this position when all of these things then come in to begin to factor in, and then you see that we don't have people who are qualified, who really know the nitty-gritty of whatever that ministry entails, holding that position. And many would bring up the excuse of it's an administrative position. You can actually just put somebody there just for you to be smart, so, to have people under you that will do the job. I think that's not a problem, but I think it's best if you have someone who have been through the ranks and understands
the system
perfectly how the system works.
For instance, now we can have a lawyer as the Minister of Power, housing, I think.
Well,
and
we
then
have
works.
and works
Three
ministries
serious
ministries.
one.
How is this supposed to deliver on all three of
function,
them? And function effectively.
So it's quite a thing.
So same thing is been complained about here by Razak. They're talking about how appointments for security officials in the airports, security personnel and fire personnel, isn't done transparently. It's been a case of who knows who.
Even just security personnel.
And we don't see the importance of the delicate role that plays in the activities of an airport. So, whoever's in charge will be like, it's just to be here.
Yeah, just stand here.
But now, with what has happened, it was on CNN. It was on CNN. I first saw it on CNN, in fact. And I was like, all right, this has put our aviation sector in very, very bad light. And that is a very serious thing to look out for. Well, let's go to our phone lines. Remember, the SMS portal is also open. Let us know what you think and what your thoughts are on this particular issue. Send us your text message. All right, send us your text message to 0701 933 9962. 0701 933 9962. You can also call us on 0817000951 or 0810951091. Those are the numbers to call to be a part of the show. Hello and good afternoon. We lost that call. Hello and good afternoon. Both those calls, we lost them. Well, the lines are still very open, so call and let us get your thoughts on any of the issues that we've raised up so far. Aviation security. Security at our airports is one of them to look at. Hello, Today 95.1 FM.
Andrew.
You're welcome, Lawson.
Yes, the fact that it is in CNN, I don't think it will do any damage to our aviation. It's provided the matter is handled and checks are put in for it not to happen. Don't forget the same US.
They've also had their own issues, yeah.
Yes, the pilots that Osama bin Laden used are US pilots, US trained pilots. You understand? And these are same pilots that were trained, and then they were still, they managed to convince them to still carry out that act. So it's everywhere. And the National Assembly, the president, the Constitution, you understand that there is no fixed time where the president can come up with his list, ministerial list. But whenever the president comes up with those lists, the National Assembly, whether they are on recess or not, will be called back to come and look at it, because when it is a matter of public importance, national importance, they are called back from their recess. They cannot remain in their recess. You understand? That one is there. And again, it's just like what Garba Shehu is saying. We all know, if you want to look very closely, you know that the security issues in Nigeria is politicized. For me, as far as I'm concerned, it's even sponsored. Because look at it. When you look at it, it's not as if they want
Okay, wait, Lawson, I want us to establish a fact. Are you saying that all the security issues in Nigeria that we've been experiencing so far are being sponsored and are being politicized?
Some of them, not most of them, some of them, especially in the north, is sponsored. Because look at the death of that the daughter of their friend. How would somebody just come and criminal and then start shooting? You are not taking anything. You are not doing anything. What does that tell you? They want to create a situation for people to think that there is insecurity. Even in the north, the Zamfara state governor was saying it. He said it's not as if they come and they just kidnap them, kill them, leave them. It's not as if they're even taking anything from them. You understand? These things are, politicians, I don't know whether they don't think when they do these things. Well, the River State governor in that town hall meeting in Toba has said it. When you kill by the sword, you will die by the sword. Whatever weapon you use to kill, you will also die by that weapon. That is how it is. Apostle Paul, he was doing that. Later he repented, he became one of the greatest, right second only to Peter. You understand? He became one of the greatest apostles, but at the end of the day, he still died a martyr. The same way he was persecuting Christians, that's how he also died. So all these things you see, as well, we'll just check it out. When it happens, see the way people come out and talk. All of them. It was only Jonathan. When he went and visited, only Jonathan spoke like a true nationalist. I'm telling you, his views, the way he looked at it, the things he said, go back and check all of them that went there. It was all politics. It was politicized. So what I am saying is that these things are sponsored for them to come out and probably make a government look bad. That is just the intent and nothing more. If not, people who ordinarily were not even fighting themselves were living peacefully. Today are fighting themselves. Why? Understand? Because people want to create that,
all right,
that sense that
okay, Lawson, thank you very much.
And therefore the government is incapable.
Thank you. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good afternoon.
Hello, sir.
You're welcome.
Okay, my name is Andy. I'm calling from Mola.
All right, Andy, go ahead.
Orlando, first of all, I would thank you for this your program. Because people are trying. Because without you people, we will not know that what's going to happen in this country. Very much. Thank you. God bless you.
Go ahead. Thank you very much.
Okay, please, I want to comment about the Karabashir saying about the on top of the city. I want to ask him, you know, hear about the Sokoto killing yesterday, about 29 people. This morning, I listened to your total review this morning. The same killing every day. I don't know whether Graduation is living at London or another country. To come out to tell us that they are on top of the situation. So sometimes I don't know. This is just me. Thank you and God bless you, sir.
All right, thank you very much. All right, well, 08170000951 and 08109510951. Those are the numbers for you to call. The SMS portal is 0701-933-9962. Hello to the 95.1 FM.
Hey, good afternoon, sir.
Yes, you're welcome. Good afternoon. What's your name, please? Your name is?
Calling for Romola.
All right, go ahead.
Calvin Ogidi. It's like this issue, the last caller now, he has said all. Because the people who have this Nigeria today is where is our problem? The problem of insecurity, everything, kidnapping, this, that. We have tried for these things. It's our problem. Where is our problem in this country now, in Nigeria today? Thank you, sir.
Or I think it's unfair if you want to say that the president is the problem. The president isn't the problem. Or neither has any other president of the country been the problem of the country. So I'd have to make that correction. Thank you very much. Hello to 95.1 FM.
Hello, Lawson. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, my name is Steve Mbo. I'm coming from Port Harcourt.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, we are able to help us to, because the intention of growing is to have to change. We make definitely because we are mortals, we have to make mistakes. And the essence of making mistakes is to correct and learn from that mistake. If Nigeria at this level we are now, security is, everybody knows security. The presidency and those people are calling to support the presidency, they help us that we've made a lot of mistakes in the past. And we want to go further. How do you go further? It's to say, yes, something was wrong yesterday. Can we correct that so that I can go further? Not that, it was done yesterday and you still want to repeat that same thing. What are the consequences for this action that we are doing? So they should try to help us. It's not a matter of saying we are there, we are all Nigerians, and there's nobody is a monopoly of wisdom. Everybody can make mistakes, but let us try to learn to say, please, we are out of this level of things and learn from it and be able to grow. So that to be supporting what somebody has done bad yesterday or today, it's not going out to anywhere. We are children that are growing. We have generations are coming. Our other nations are looking up to us. We are there to help ourselves. Please let us be contributing on radio and start supporting what is bad. What is bad is bad. You know, because we are human, we are going to do that. But part of this, what lesson do we know for growth? And for our progress tomorrow. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Hello to the 95.1 FM. Oh, we lost that call. All right, please do also take advantage of the WhatsApp and SMS portal. You can send us a WhatsApp message on 0701-933-9962. You can also use that to send in your text message. Hello.
Andrew, good afternoon.
Okay, good afternoon.
Yeah, I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
Your name is? Please, can you turn down the volume of your radio set? Thank you.
Okay. Andrew. For how long will the president continue to condemn the killing of people to condemn each time they kill Nigerians? He will continue
condemn, condolence. Without overheard somebody saying that that the security situation is politicized. Then what is stopping Muhammad Buhari for him to go after the sponsors of those killings? Andrew, honestly, I'll tell you, Mr. President has nothing to offer to Nigerians. For him being there, for the look thing, thank you.
Hello, Today95.1 FM. Good afternoon.
Actually, concerning what that man that said that the security, nothing like a security, too much wahala. Some say it's politicized. All the problem that is befalling Nigeria, all the calamity that is befalling Nigeria, their leaders are the cause. You understand me? Actually, I cannot say Buhari is the cause or former president is the cause. Our leaders, they are corrupt. So they will benefit a lot from all this violence that you see that is erupting this country. The only solution to this problem is let us use market and cut this country pieces. Let everybody go. Yeah? That's the only solution. Let everybody go their separate ways. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You're welcome. We can barely hear you. Please, you'd have to speak up.
I want to contribute over this security issue.
Yeah, speak up. You're sounding really low. We can't hear you clearly.
Hello?
Hello.
Are you hearing me now?
Yes, better. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to contribute over this security issue.
Okay.
Please, you should stop complaining. Can you do something, Andrew? Huh?
Hello, go ahead.
I'm asking you a question. Can you do something?
I'm doing my part by educating you on it, aren't I?
Yes. You should stop complaining. You should do something.
So what would you suggest? What would you do?
Yes, we should come together and do something and come together and condemn us.
So what are people doing now? Isn't it people who are calling now and condemning the act? Isn't that something?
No, not at all.
So what kind of coming together and condemn the act are you seeking for?
We should come together against this government. Because this government is not doing anything.
Oh, you're asking for people to rise up in protest against the government. Is that what you're saying? Well, if you feel like the government isn't delivering its promises or giving you the dividends of democracy the much that you expect, well, you can decide to go out there and start up a protest. Don't forget, you have a right to do so. So you can. Have you thought about starting yourself?
Hello?
Have you thought about starting the protest yourself?
Why not?
Okay, then go ahead and air your grievances and go ahead and air your grievances to the government. Thank you very much. Hello, Today95.1 FM. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Andrew.
You're welcome. Okay.
My brother, I think I agree to the fact that security issues in the country is being politicized. Even it is over politicized. I look at the death of Fakurin, the Fasoranti's daughter. They rushed, the opposition and their sympathizers rushed and told us that it was done by the Fulani herdsmen. But up to today, they cannot prove it.
I think it's unfair to tag it to the opposition because we also have sociocultural groups, lots of them, and even some members of the family say the same thing.
Opposition, yes, with the opposition, all of them, they were there. All those ones that are sentimental to them. Now, let me tell you, it is very, very unfair. If the issue of the herdsmen and farmers' crisis, even to solve the herders' crisis, the whole country, the government has come out with very, very serious solutions, and the same people rejected it. In Benue State, the governor said that he has signed anti-open grazing law into this thing. But the government said, okay, since it's not good to graze cattle in the open, let us introduce ranch. The same people say they are not. What is their problem? Don't you know that ranching is the same thing as anti-open grazing law? But the people rejected it. I think the security issue is being politicized. And they will not help anybody. Even those that are politicizing thinking that it will help them, they will be surprised. Even those that are shouting, let's divide Nigeria, they will be surprised that if Nigeria divides, their problem is still there on their head, and they will be carrying it around. The solution is that all of us will join hands together, leave our ethnicity, religion, and our bias sentiments, and move this country forward. That is just the only solution. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Let's take this call before we go to the SMS portal. Hello to Today95.1 FM.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Your name, please?
Andrew calling you from Mago.
Andrew
calling you.
Okay,
from
Andrew,
Mago.
go ahead.
Yes. It's really, really sad. Sometimes when we hear some of these things we are hearing in the radio, it's so sad. Look, apart from when this man lost his daughter in Lagos, and people were going to pay him condolence visit. Apart from those people talking, both the sociocultural groups and the opposition, there was a testimony of an eyewitness. Nobody's thinking about that one. An eyewitness was there and said he saw these people, they were herdsmen. And when these people call on radio, they just want to cover these herdsmen. Now, the truth is this. I'm not even saying whether herdsmen or no herdsmen, but we know there are killer herdsmen. But if these people are telling us that it is politicized, all these things that are happening, all this killing is politics. Not that what they are trying to tell us is maybe the opposition has gone to rent some people, hire some people that are position themselves in the highway, just coming out shooting at random and killing. Because recently, even on this Warri Port Harcourt road, somebody came out. And even though that the police was just, their van was just behind to save that situation. It was on the highway shooting sporadically. Arrest some of these people, and I bet you that is where you will know exactly who these people are. And because they know it, that's why they are not arresting them. Because the moment they arrest them, Nigeria will know exactly the true identity of these people. Our people should stop defending them.
All right.
To arrest them.
Thank you very much.
And know who they are exactly.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Thank you. All right, let's take a few text messages before we go for
this one says,
news update.
Good afternoon, presenters. How many lawmakers propose the bill in a month? What happens to the running cost when they don't propose
bills?
Another one says, good day, Andrew. Anya Solti from Elibrada Emoa. It says, the roots of insecurities from the politicians. If they do the needful, call those boys that helped them during the election period, the monsters will reduce. For the ministerial list, PM President Muhammadu Buhari should help us release it as soon as possible to enable smooth governance. This one says, please, sir, to say that there is kidnapping in the south alongside armed robbery is sway with the herdsmen massacre does not, to me, balance the scale. To say the Igbos according security to the herdsmen, visible red lights, and the admonition to tackle insecurity regardless of religion or tribe. It's just politics, which to me is playing on the political minds of a greater portion of the country. The government is better than just issuing statements. That message was from Abba Chinyere. This one says, hello, Andrew, good afternoon. If Gabashewu says the security in Nigeria is in order and in full control, please let him travel to his village and come back without any security escorts. Then I would know Nigeria is safe. You can't travel to your village with hillocks in front and behind, giving you security cover, and you come on national TV to tell me that we don't have security issues. Some call on radio to say it is politicized. It is a pity. And Singapore says the security of the country gets worse by the day. I think the president has failed to exercise the powers vested on him as the commander-in-chief. He should end the killings, please. That is why he's the number one citizen. Those are the messages I have for now.
All right. Let me quickly tell us that on the second half of the show, we'll be looking at Nigerians in diaspora and how well they are being protected by the government of the country. You're quite aware that in South Africa, we've had a couple of Nigerians lose their lives, and in other parts of Africa as well, not just South Africa, even in Ghana and Mozambique. It goes on and on. But focus would be South Africa. Recently, we had issue of the woman who lost her life in a hotel. And our question now is, what is the value of Nigerians outside Nigeria to the government of Nigeria? And how is the government ensuring that they protect Nigerians who are outside the shores of this country? We'll be right back on the second half of the show. Don't go anywhere.
Port Harcourt, are you ready? Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM.
Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. News update.
Good afternoon, and here is the news update on Today 95.1 FM. I am Ifeemi Andrew. Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity to President Muhammadu Buhari Garba Shehu has said that the present government disagrees with the assumption in certain quarters that there exists a security collapse in Nigeria. Shehu argued that the government is on top of the security situation in the country, stressing that calm has been restored to the North Central and Niger Delta. He further argued that security challenges had existed before the present administration came to office, arguing, however, that the President Buhari-led administration has met its own challenges and are dealing with them as decisive as they can. Garba Shehu also stated that President Buhari is now open to new ideas, or is open to new ideas.
Problems that are being talked about that are present, matters of kidnapping and the banditry, and with a lot of support from the air power that this country has got, and the military, as the Vice President of Nigeria has said, human resources, military and other equipment are being moved, and the government is dealing decisively with these challenges. And you've seen the Vice President moving from one palace to the next in the southwest, and he's going to go to all of the parts of this country. That is positive.
Meanwhile, first-class Yoruba monarch, the Alaafin of Oyo, Oba Lamidi Adeyemi, has written to President Muhammadu Buhari to warn him of a looming anarchy in the country if the siege laid to Yoruba land by herdsmen and kidnappers is not contained. Oba Adeyemi in his letter accused President Buhari of not bringing the culprits to book. He said the Yoruba had all it took to resort to self-help if the security in the zone did not improve and people guaranteed safety of lives and property. And former national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Chief John Odigye Oyegun, has accused his successor, Adams Oshiomhole, of turning himself into an agent of disruption and trying to frustrate the smooth running of government in Edo State. Oyegun also accused Oshiomhole of playing God in Edo politics, even though he claimed to have buried godfatherism in the state, cautioning him to stop disgracing the APC in Edo State through the role he is playing in fueling the crisis in the state. Oyegun, who spoke through his public affairs advisor, Chief Ray Murphy, said it is yet to come to terms as to why Oshiomhole has easily forgotten that he never interfered in Edo State affairs as the national chairman of the ruling party, while Oshiomhole held fort as the then governor. The former APC national chairman also wondered why Oshiomhole chose to forget that Governor Obaseki should be supported as the only APC governor in the South-South geopolitical zone rather than vilifying and destabilizing his administration. Oyegun, who was reacting to a recent public utterance by Governor Godwin Obaseki accusing Oshiomhole of being behind the crisis rocking the State House of Assembly, said the APC chairman was blatantly and brazenly engaging in anti-party to the extent that the party in Edo is now riven with confusion and division. He asked members of the progressive governors not to stand aside and watch their fellow governor being hampered by a party chairman whose actions may lead to political misfortune for the party. And on the foreign scene, authorities in Democratic Republic of Congo have banned political rallies this week in the capital, Kinshasa, because of tensions between supporters of President Felix Tshisekedi and those of former leader Joseph Kabila, police said on Sunday. Tshisekedi was elected in December to replace Kabila, who presided over sub-Saharan Africa's biggest country for nearly 2 decades. Tensions rose in the capital after the youth wing of Tshisekedi's Democracy and Social Progress Party announced that it would hold a protest against the candidacy of a former justice minister for the Senate presidency. In response, the PRO Kabila Red Berets movement said it would hold a counter-march to support the candidacy of Alexis Tambwe, who is considered by many a hardliner from the Kabila regime. Kinshasa Police Chief General Silvano Kasongo told state television that given the tensions in the capital, Kinshasa's governor had banned all political rallies for this week. And that's it on the news update for the hour. Thank you for your time and stay tuned.
This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people. Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
I'm T-Ranger calling from Imo State. My name is White calling from Bayelsa. Hello, yes, this is Udwa calling from Akwa Ibom.
My name is John calling from Bayelsa.
Chamaka calling from Abia.
This is Toya calling from Bayelsa. I'm Divine calling from Port Harcourt.
With over 8 million listeners glued to this dial, why not take advantage
and showcase your product
and services to the world with rates that wouldn't break your bank?
Visit us at number 1 Today FM Drive off East West Road, Rumekini, Port Harcourt, or our city office, 21 Orobon Crescent, GRA Phase 2, Port Harcourt.
Give us a call today on
0803 35 57 986 or 0810 128 2937.
We are your number 1 talk radio station. Today, 95.1 FM, voice of the people.
Okay, all right. All you need to know about this one is that
95.1 FM, such a unique dial.
For crying out loud, why do you leave me at this point in time? Oh my God. In my life now. I couldn't do anything like that to me. What on earth did I do to this?
Suicide is a practice that is fast gaining dominance in Nigeria. Suicide is the intentional act of taking one's life. Within the first quarter of 2017 alone, many Nigerians have subscribed to suicide as a means to escaping depression, severe anxiety, acute stress, terminal diseases, lack of money or hope for survival, mental disorder, or even a heartbreak. The World Health Organization revealed that no fewer than 1 million people die annually from suicide, which represents a global mortality rate of 16 people per 100,000, or 1 death in every 40 seconds. It is also a fact that approximately 10 to 20 million people attempt suicide every year. But is anything worth dying for? Suicide is a major public health concern, but it is preventable. Talk to someone when you feel depressed. You can also prevent others from a suicide attempt by contacting the Nigerian Suicide Prevention Initiative on 080-621-06493 or 080-921-06493. Choose to live today because life is beautiful. This message is powered by your premium talk radio, Today 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
Wow, baby, I love what I'm singing. Let's go have some fun. Me and you together.
You have protection?
No, I don't have protection.
Have you checked the HIV status?
Come on, I don't womanize. I'm a clean guy.
Today, HIV and AIDS is a major global health emergency affecting all regions of the world, causing millions of deaths and sufferings. It is the leading infectious cause of adult death in the world, and about 19 million out of the 35 million people living with HIV globally do not know their HIV status. This is